Alright, this LeetCode question is called reverse string. It says write a function that reverses a string. The input string is given as an array of characters. Do not allocate extra space for another array. You must do this by modifying the array in place with O of 1 extra memory. You may assume all the characters consist of printable ASCII characters. So the first example, the input array is HELLO, and the output is OLLEH, which is HELLO reversed. And example 2 is the capital letter H, ANNAH, and the output is lowercase h, ANNA, capital letter H, because that's the input array reversed. One thing to note is that even though this is called reverse string, this isn't actually a string. This is an array, and there's a good reason for that. In JavaScript, strings are immutable, meaning they cannot be changed. But the elements of an array can be changed. So if this were an actual string, we'd have to use a different technique. But since it's not an actual string, we can reverse the letters as we're supposed to. Alright, so the way to do this is to have two different pointers at once. And by pointers, I don't mean actual pointers like in C++, I just mean references to two different elements at once. So those elements would be the first element and the last element. Now what do we need to do? We just need to swap those elements. So now O is at the front and H is at the back. The next step is to do that over again, but by moving one element in from each side. So we'll swap them. O will go where the L is, and the L will go where the O is. And there we go. Let me talk briefly about the actual swapping process, because maybe that's not so obvious. Let's say that we call the first pointer start, so that'll equal O, and the second pointer end, and that'll equal H. Without thinking, you might say, well, all right, the way to swap this is make start equal to end and end equal to start. The problem with that is, let's say we make start equal to end. Now when we try to make end equal to start, it won't work because we overwrote what the start variable is. We've just lost our reference to the letter O. So what we actually need to do is we need to create another variable called temp. And what we'll do is we'll initialize temp to whatever start is. So now let's do what we did before. Let's make start equal to end. Now instead of making end equal to start, we'll make end equal to whatever temp is. There we go. Now the variables are successfully swapped. Alright, let's get to the code. Remember, the first thing we need to do is to create two pointers. We'll call them start, and start will be at the front of the array, and end, which will be at the end of the array. Alright, the next step is to create a while loop. So this while loop will continue until start is no longer less than end. And what do we need? We need a temporary variable to capture the first letter. So let temp equal s start, which right now would be the letter H. Then we need start to be whatever end is. So s start equals s end. And that would look like this. All right. Finally, we need end to be whatever start was. But remember, whatever start was is held in the temp variable. So we'll do s end equals temp. And that would look like this. So now what we have to do is we have to increment the start pointer, which would look like this, and decrement the end pointer, which would look like this. Okay, so now the loop would continue swapping the elements until start is no longer less than end. So it'll happen one more time, and E would be L, L would be E, then we're done. So let's run the code, see how we did. Looks good, let's submit it. All right, so it was accepted. Our code was faster than about 15% of JavaScript submissions. As usual, the code and explanation are linked down below. If you liked the video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.